fellow trade geniuses, this is Philip, and I wanted to do a quick run through on support and resistance. For you veteran traders, you're going to already be familiar with this. For you newer folks, wanted to show you how support, which is where price bounces off of. So for example, this area here would be support, or resistance, where price can't break through, like this level here would be considered resistance. How that interacts with price as price continues to move to the right. I've just pulled up a GU chart here. It's a 15-minute, 5-day chart for no particular reason other than I just picked pound dollar. Haven't really stared at what's to the right. We're just going to look and see what we would consider support and resistance, and then see how price interacts. Support and resistance isn't an exact science. Support and resistance can get overshot a little bit. It can get messy as far as how it's respected. So let's look at how things develop. Okay, so right here we're going to say, okay, that's a resistance point, right? Came up, couldn't break through that, and we're going to say this is a support point. Okay, right? So we have that. So let's see how things develop as we move. And also to here, this is kind of a double top, so we'll say that was resistance there at that price level. Okay, so we see price is coming down to previous area of support and it bounces. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit here on that. Okay, so price bounces up there and comes right back down, and now we've lost the support there. And now typically what happens, and on shorter time frames it can get a little bit messy at times, but technically that would then be, if you're looking at, like, let's just say we're in an hourly trade or something like that, 27, or this level here at 22.72. Okay, now that just flipped to, now it's resistance. Being that it's on 15 minutes, sometimes it's not as powerful. Maybe that's just a temporary overshoot, but let's just see what happens. As you can see, price couldn't push back up that level once that was broken. So I mean, if you're sitting in this trade, in here for an hour now, which is going to feel like an eternity, especially if you were long, you're going to see, that's going to feel like, man, that is just turned into resistance, right? So let's just see what happens. Price is kind of consolidating. Now, if this level here breaks, this is already now a level of support that it's establishing. It's been chopping along there for a while. Okay, so now price is going to now price is pushed back up above. That's bullish. Usually what happens, sometimes when that happens, it'll come up, come back down for retest, and then off. Okay, not always, but sometimes that happens. Okay, so it's tried to push above and boom, back down. Sometimes different session times, like this is 2 in the morning, so Europe's waking up, right? So that's gonna affect things. So we broke through and then broke back up. So now you would assume it's gonna retest this level of resistance up here. So let's see what happens. And at this point here, I don't really have, nothing really stands out to me as a major, other than this level here. Once we broke through, this did kind of double top it. As you see, it nuked through it. If we're coming back down, as you can see, this level here does get respected, and I forgot to draw that in because I wasn't paying attention, but you can see how that works. So when you get that's the tricky thing about support and resistance. Once a level is busted through like that, runs away, tendency to, it'll come back down and bounce off of it. Okay, when we're doing like binaries and hourly expirations, that's all we care about, is that support or resistance line holding for that hour. So like for that, it would work. That's if we had a strike at 22.88, say for example, on an hourly contract, that's all we're looking for, is just for it to hold. Whether it's a major hold, that's another thing. This thing held pretty good. Okay, so still holding, still going up. This is a level of resistance. I think on a very short time frame, you would probably key in on that. So that's being respected there. See that? Okay, so consolidating kind of around there. Okay, shooting back up. Now it's hitting that upper resistance line. You can see it went up, almost tagged it, and came back down, and then shot through. Okay, so now that becomes support. And you see price came back down, boom, came back up. These are 15-minute bars. Okay, that's pretty standard on support and resistance. The reason why we kept this line is it hadn't been tested yet. Okay, so I love support and resistance on the first retest, and that's either from the bottom or coming back down from the top. Those typically are the best. So like here, that established itself as a resistance, never really got tested, came back up. You could even say, like, maybe here was resistance, but I'm looking at kind of this in relation to this. There's nothing really over here, so this kind of established itself in space. And so I kind of, the way I interpret it, I don't really pay attention to that. I pay attention to this. Okay, maybe that's just screen time, but so now we're looking. So this broke through, boom, and then boom up, like a 1, 2, 3 move. And what I would probably do is, if we're moving along, I would probably move this up to here, looking for a level of support there, just adjusting that, because that area, and again, it's not exact, you're kind of just trying to eyeball it. So once you see something like that breaks through, or that, I mean, these are done. These go bye-bye. Because they've just been run over. Now, on something like this, okay, price left this area. Okay, so now this is just asking to be retested. Price comes down almost to the T, boink. Now you can see I just placed it there. I mean, over time you kind of get a feel for where you want to place these lines. I'm kind of just looking for an average through here. I got respected there and there. That overshot. We got 2 closes right about here. I just placed it there. Okay, so that bounced up. That's cool. This isn't cool. Then I would start thinking this line might be getting ready to break. But like I said, these lines aren't. It's not going to be perfect. Okay, this is just general areas of support and resistance. Price, as you can see, doesn't just typically will try to bounce around a little bit in those areas. Okay, so this is boogieing down. I would say so. Now at this point with these, done. We'll see what happens here. That shot back up. So now I'm looking. Okay, so here, this broke. I'm looking at now at this being resistance. Right here. And that's good resistance. I like that. When you get a respected break, I'd be looking for a retest of that. I don't know if we'll see it on this chart, but okay. So you see price hour went up there, and 15-minute stopped in its tracks there. We got a rejection. Okay. Now price is kind of hovering under that, still acting as resistance. And now it's breaking back above. So wasn't a major thing of resistance, but price respected that. Okay, again, you're looking at, you're talking about an hour of resistance there. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to show you guys kind of how that plays out in 15-minute increments. As you zoom out, things get a little clearer. You can kind of see where that line was respected, and then comes back up. And so, I mean, it's not an exact science. There's definitely, I would say, an art to it, but in a nutshell, that's kind of kind of an overview of support and resistance lines. And I think you'll find as it really takes screen time, but the more you look at that and watch price react to it, then you'll be better off at looking at that and weighing that into your trade decisions. All right, guys. Well, I hope that helps. And thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye bye.